So in this video, I'm going to be going through these 8 problems, and if you need to just skip ahead at any point, go for it. I'm just going to be taking it from the top with problem number 1 and just explaining all of the problems. So for number 1, we're asked how much interest will Hannah earn? So we can use our I equals PRT formula and simply plug in the principal amount, the rate as a percent. We're going to convert it to a decimal, so move it over twice, and it's going to be in 4 years. Now once we punch in these 3 numbers, 630 times 0.065 times 4, we get $163.80. That is the interest that she'll earn, and we're going to stop the problem there. For number 2, Terry invested $2,200 into the stock market for 2 years. If the investment earned a 12% simple interest, how much money did Terry earn in those 2 years? So once again, how much money did he earn in interest? So we're going for just interest only. So we're investing $2,200 at a 12% interest rate for 2 years, and it will have earned $528 in interest. Now, neither one of these problems asked us for the total account balance or the amount that it's worth in the end, so we do not need to add in the interest into the principal, not yet. Now, questions 3 and 4 are kind of like those volume warm-up problems where we're trying to find the interest rate, so we're solving for R. What is the interest rate? So we're solving for R. And in both of these cases, they actually tell you how much interest it already had earned, which is why this time we're putting this number in for I. Same thing over here. It tells us how much money that the account had earned in interest. So it's telling us kind of like the answer part of up here. And so if we know how much interest was earned, we can take the principal and the time to solve for R. So if you take what you've been given and plug it into all the appropriate spots, we've been given I, we've been given P, and we've been given T, so now we need to find R. So you're going to multiply 1050 times 4, and that's where I got my coefficient. And now when you divide on both sides, the coefficient here cancels out. And you guys aren't really used to taking a smaller number and dividing it by a bigger number, which I think is what's tripping some of you guys up. But when you divide this in the calculator, we get a 0.0575. And the decimal moves over twice, and we get 5.75% in interest. Now, let me take my calculator out, and I'll show you how to check your work. You can check by saying, okay, so if it was $1,050 that was invested into the savings account, we calculated that it was at a 0.575, so 0.0575, and times the 4 years. Boom, we can see right there that it would have earned the $241.50 in interest, and we can check our answer that way. So for the next one, again, if it gives you interest, you're plugging it in on this side. It tells you how much interest here was earned. You've got the principal amount. We're solving for R, and this time it just says Kelly Ray's inheritance was from her great mother's account, blah, blah, blah. And it just says every year right here. And so for 1 year, we can see right there that it's going to be, when we divide, 0.083. And when you move the decimal over, we get an 8.3% interest rate. Okay, so these 2 problems are kind of like those volume problems where you were given the volume and then you had to try to solve for the width there. Those 2 problems are like that. Now 5 and 6 are a little bit different because they ask us to find, well, actually number 5 is actually still the same. Let me back up real quick. So Mr. Pham has $410,000 in his retirement account that earns 3.85% simple interest. So we have the principal amount, we're given the rate, and we want to find the amount earned. So we want to know interest over here just in 1 year of the investment. So when we multiply that out, we see that he will earn an additional $15,785 in interest, and we can stop there. Now number 6 is the first type of problem where it asks us to find the total amount in the account. So we've got $8,000 going into the account at 9% simple interest, and we're going to leave it alone for 18 years. And it will earn an additional $12,960 in interest. And since we want to now find the total amount, we're going to say, okay, we've got the $8,000 that we invested to begin with, plus now the interest that we've earned. And so we're going to have a total account balance of $20,960 by the end of those 18 years. Now for number 7, if Raj won $900,000 in the lottery, Of course, like always, you have to pay taxes. So this is considered an income, and then you do have to pay the government taxes. And so if Raj won $900,000 and had to pay $350 in taxes, that means he's got $550,000 left over to invest. All right. Now he's going to invest that at a 4.25% interest rate and leave it alone for 2 years. It goes on to ask us how much money is in the account if he doesn't make any deposits or withdrawals, meaning he won't put any money in or take any money out for 2 years. So when we multiply these three numbers together, we get that the interest is going to be an additional $46,750. So if he had invested $550,000 total and now earned an additional $46,750 in interest, the account is going to be worth $596,750. So you're seeing here so far throughout this whole worksheet that if you have money in savings and you can find a good interest rate, if you leave your money in long enough, you'll just be getting so much free money just accumulating in interest. All right, we have one more problem here. Mona opened up a savings account with $500, so that's not as much as some of the other amounts. And she does have a good rate here. She's getting 5.6% interest. That is a lot of interest rate for just a small savings account. Most of the times, these interest rates really are at like 0.2 or 0.3% for a small little savings account in a bank. But 5.6 is a lot here. And if there's no deposits or withdrawals, how much money will be in the account after 8.5 years? So we've got the principal times the rate times time. So principal, rate, and time. And we can see that after 8.5 years, this will have earned an additional $238 in interest. But because it asks us how much money is in the account, we're going to add the $238 in interest to the original $500, and the account will now have $738 in it. And that concludes the video on these 8 questions where you're practicing simple interests. If you have any further questions, please feel free to come and ask. Thank you. Thank you.